All right, we are here for my deck tech, and I'm battling with White-Black Constellation. And we saw a deck kind of similar to this at GP Miami, piloted by Forrest Mead, and probably a couple other people as well.
Yep. I think he had a deck tech. So
he did do a deck tech on it, yeah.
If you want to look for that, I don't know where it's at, but feel free.
Yeah, GP Miami coverage somewhere. But I liked the look of the deck, and I felt like there's actually a lot of new tools for that style of deck in this format with Dragons of Tarkir, so I decided to rebuild it, but a little more Nykthos-y.
Nykthos-y.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look at White-Black Constellation / Devotion.
All right.
So the biggest new tool that this deck gets, in my opinion, is Anafenza. The new Anafenza Kin Spirit. It's a 2/2 for white, and has the ability whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield, you get to bolster 1. So that is a pretty awesome combo with Mastery of the Unseen. Every time you manifest a creature...
No, it's fine.
You get to make basically a 3/3 instead of a 2/2. So pretty neat combo there. And it's also decent with just a bunch of other creatures too, like Underworld Coinsmith. We have a lot of cheap creatures to basically get bigger off of Anafenza's ability, and then it's just a great combo with Master of the Unseen. And it's also white, so it provides good devotion as well.
Yep.
Between Anafenza, Brimaz, and a bunch of other stuff, we can actually provide enough devotion to start activating Nykthos, and we can use our Nykthos for things like Mastery of the Unseen.
Yeah, I was tanking like pretty hard this week, thinking about ways to make mono white devotion work with Mastery of the Unseen, because just making a ton of mana with Mastery is gross.
It is.
Just absurdly gross. So.
And one of the sweet things too is a lot of our creatures actually are like real things that we can flip up. Like flipping up an Athreos is pretty sweet. Or even just like flipping up a Doomwake Giant,
dude,
and then casting one from your hand.
What if like your opponent goes to like, you know, kill your morphed Athreos, and then you flip it up, and it's not a creature. Or it's indestructible.
Or it's a creature and is indestructible. Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah, there's a lot of sweet things you can do with that. But the real big thing here is the ability to generate devotion from non-creature permanents, which is really one of the ways that white devotion has always struggled, is that you don't have a non-creature way to provide devotion.
It also didn't have Burning Tree Emissary for white, so...
Yeah, now you have Anafenza Kin Tree.
Kin Tree Emissary? Yeah. It should have been Kin Tree Emissary.
Yeah, it should have been. But here we have Citadel Siege, Mastery, Banishing Light, and Spear, and also Athreos to provide us with a lot of devotion that's not necessarily going to be a creature. And that just really makes our Nykthos so much better and lets us do like multiple Mastery activations in a turn and things like that. And then Citadel Siege is also just extremely powerful with our cheap creatures, and also to lock down our opponent's creatures as well. It's just, actually, I think it falls into the thing where if a card is busted and limited, it's probably decent and constructed. Like,
yeah, I was working on a few different decks that played Citadel Siege, just because white now has access to like a ton of different 2-drop creatures that have lifelink. Like you have Seeker of the Way, Soulfire Grandmaster, and even, isn't there a Johnny's something or another?
There's a Johnny's Pridemate.
Well, there's Pridemate. Isn't there the Sunstriker? Or is that not legal anymore?
I don't know.
Anyway, but you can have a lot of just like early guys into Citadel Siege, and then it's just impossible for your opponent to race you if you're just like putting 2 counters on those kind of guys every single turn. So
there is actually another lifelink creature from the new set, but you may not have seen it when you looked at the spoiler. It might have been hidden. Because there is the old Hidden Dragon Slayer as well, which is a card that I think is actually a pretty sweet with this deck. One, it's a cheap lifelinker that gets bigger with Citadel Siege and Spear and things like that. That can help you race, but it's also able to kill big creatures, which is pretty sweet. Between Valorous Stance, Banishing Light, and Hidden Dragon Slayer, this deck should be able to handle like big opposing permanents pretty well. And one awesome thing that you can do is if you mastery a Hidden Dragon Slayer, you can unmorph it and still kill a big creature, either paying 2 mana or 3 mana.
Yeah, if you pay 2 mana, you don't get the Megamorph counter.
Yeah.
But if you just manifest, then you still get to trigger the ability. Almost, I think all the guys that have like a flip-up effect say when this is turned face up, so you can usually either manifest or unmorph, depending on which cost is cheaper.
Yeah, so for here, we can spend 2 mana for a little bit smaller of a guy, or spend 3 mana for like a bigger creature. But either way, it's pretty sweet that you can manifest it and then still use it to kill something. And then we're also playing Aven Sunstriker, which may not be very good, but it is a very good card with Citadel Siege, Spear, and Anafenza.
Yeah.
As it's a 1/1 double striking flying creature. It has Megamorph, so we can also unmorph it with Mastery as well. And it is just a giant flyer if you get to pump it with these other spells. It also provides pretty decent devotion as well.
Yeah, double white seems good, flying seems good, and just the combo with Citadel Siege seems... I mean, going 6 damage, 10 damage, 2 turns in a row, that's a lot.
Yeah, that is pretty sweet.
That's pretty tough to beat. So.
I also love the fact that Athreos works with your manifest tokens. So...
Oh, man, that's so good.
Yeah, so if they wrath you with an Athreos in play and you have a bunch of manifests, either you're getting a bunch of those back or they're paying a lot of life. And some of those might not be necessarily creatures. You might be getting back some Vanishing Lights or Citadel Sieges or other Masteries of the Unseen.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So
I'm excited to see how this interacts with Anger of the Gods.
Yeah, not very well.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to say that, but yeah, it doesn't interact too well with Anger of the Gods, but you know, you win some, you lose some.
Yep. Before we start, I'm going to go get some like Back to Natures. Yeah, I forgot to put those in my sideboard. So.
All right, well, that's good for me.
All right, well, let's take a look at your sideboard.
Well, before we get to the sideboard, I just want to say that the mana base is pretty plain.
Pretty plain?
Pretty plain.
Old plain Jane?
Yeah. There's some Nykthoses, though. But yeah, let's go ahead and look at the sideboard and see what goodies await us there. All right, so the sideboard has a number of anti-control measures in Thoughtseize and Read the Bones and Erebos, which is also an anti-opposing Mastery of the Unseen measure. And it's nice because it's an enchantment, which goes with our Constellation theme as well. So.
Oh, so you built a Constellation Precon deck?
I did,
That's so cute.
It is cute. It also will hopefully wreck our opponents.
Yeah,
so.
No, it's going to be good, I think.
Yeah, I don't think Erebos really turns on in this deck, but I mean, I'm turned on just casting it, so it's...
Whoa. All right, little much.
My devotion to Erebos is strong. We have Ultimate Price, which is another card from the new set, which is going to give us a cheap way to kill like Whisperwood Elemental and Plukranos and things like that, along with more Valor stances, which can do the same thing. I
love how in this format, Ultimate Price is basically just like Deathmark that can kill Stormbreath Dragon.
Yeah.
Because like every other creature is just really, really like multicolored or...
Yeah, the exception is it does chomp on Goblin Rabblemaster pretty well. Yeah, so Rabblemaster has been known to pay the ultimate price. A time or two.
Has he?
Yeah, probably
Maybe,
not.
Yeah.
I mean, he did the last format.
Yeah, it was like 2 months or whatever.
A couple of races for enchantments and then some glares as well because why not? We're playing a white deck and white cards are good in this format, so get rid of those Elspeths and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think like Glare of Heresy is one of the best sideboard cards that people can have access to. And, well, at the moment. I don't know how good the new ones are going to be, but hopefully they're going to be pretty powerful, so...
Yep, so, yeah, I think this deck's pretty sweet. We'll get to see it in action here. Doomwake Giant's probably not the best against you, but...
Can't kill it.
Yeah, I guess he can't kill it.
Kills my Radicals, and I can't kill it.
All right, well, maybe Doomwake Giant is pretty good. But we'll have to go to the battles and find out.